Migdal Haemek and northern kibbutzim of the Jezreel Valley. Migdal Haemek, today it is a city with about 30,000 inhabitants, most of them Jews. In the Ottoman period there was an Arab village called Mugidal, with Muslim and Christian inhabitants. To the north, there was another Arab village called Ma'alul, also with Muslim and Christian residents. There was an ancient settlement, which may have begun in the Canaanite period and was inhabited until the Roman period. During the War of Independence, the villages that were on the way to the conquest of Nazareth were conquered. Some of the residents fled and the rest were expelled, and the villages were destroyed. After the establishment of the State of Israel, Jewish immigrants who came from transit camps settled there. Over the years, following the waves of immigration, the settlement grew and became a city. In the 1920s, after the beginning of the British Mandate, the leaders of the regenerating Jewish settlement saw a vital need to settle the Jezreel Valley. The Jewish National Fund bought the lands of the valley from the Sursik family, a wealthy family of Greek Orthodox descent, who lived in Beirut, Lebanon. In 1922, Kibbutz Ginniger was established by members of the Third Aliyah from Eastern Europe. Named after a settlement from the Talmudic period. In 1926, immigrants from Poland established Kibbutz Gvat, named after the city of Gabta from the days of the Second Temple. In the same year, a group arrived near the Ein Safon Springs. Another group joined them and established Kibbutz Ramat David. The groups in Ramat David were separated. For 20 years they lived separately in one kibbutz. The kibbutz is named after David Lloyd George, who was a British lawyer, and was employed by Herzl to represent the Zionist organization, with the British government, in order to find a way to settle the Jews. Later in World War I, he was elected Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and supported the Zionist idea and the Balfour Declaration. On the lands there were Arabs who rented the land and cultivated. They refused to leave the place in the early years. In the same year 1926, another group came up and established Kibbutz Sarid. It was built near Tel Sarid, which was an ancient settlement from more than 3,500 years ago, and existed until the Roman period. The place is mentioned in the book of Joshua. And the third lot came up for the children of Zebulun according to their families, and the border of their inheritance was unto Sarid. In 1937, the British Army established an airfield that became Ramat David Airport and is currently used by the Israeli Air Force. In the early 1940s, a secret wireless transmission station was built in Gvat, which broadcast in Morse to the leadership of the settlement in England. In 1952, there was a political split in the United Kibbutz movement, and the Kibbutz Union was established. Kibbutz Gvat split, almost half of its members left, joined by one of the groups from Kibbutz Ramat David. Together they established Kibbutz Yifat nearby. It is named after the ancient settlement of Yafia. In the 2000s, the kibbutzim were partially privatized, and enjoyed development and economic well-being.